so confused. Like, who have I been hanging out with this whole time?
I'm ready to live, I'm ready to love.
I was kind of in a funk. Couldn't access my creativity.
It's our time to live our life.
And then I met you, and that all went away.
I'm ready to feel, I'm ready to fight, to stay in this moment.
If you reduce the world down, we're all just one big organism. What we do has an effect on others.
So make it last forever.
Yes, sir.
David,
How about it?
what is going on? You canceled on me, and then you're back again. I feel so
You know what I
honored.
didn't realize?
What?
I didn't realize the original time was 1:55. It was 12:55, and I ended up calling you on the phone at 1:01 or something, thinking,
Right.
wow, 6 minutes has gone by and I've missed this interview, but that wasn't the case at all.
I got to warn you now. I have your number. I may just call you randomly late at night just to talk.
If it were so, that's actually my daughter's number because
Oh,
because it was Wi-Fi and my internet. My cell phone right now doesn't work. It only will text and FaceTime on the internet because I dropped it and something got jarred loose. So my replacement phone arrives tomorrow. So you can call her. She will be as disinterested in you as she is me.
oh my gosh, this is such a thrill to talk to you, David. Thank you so much. And well, let's talk about your new movie, and then we'll get to some other questions I'm dying to ask you. You know, your new movie, The Right One, comes out this Friday. Your character is like sent from the main office to improve productivity in the office. Is that a right description?
Yes, sir. And then I find that our most productive person is someone who I would think would be otherwise. In fact, I think upon first seeing him, Nick Thune's character, I say, "What is that?" So it seems like I'm an, arrogant cuss. And as it turns out, maybe there's a surprise as to our relationship in the end.
And Nick Thune, what a talent through this movie. He has to play all these different characters. Did he seem to impress you pretty much?
Yeah, I've known Nick for a long time, from what I'm gonna say, this circuit. So Nick's a friend. He's the one who actually asked me to do the movie. I guess Ken had me in mind when he wrote the movie, Ken the director. And so Nick said, "Hey man, would you do this film? It's only one day." And I was working at the time, I was working on a TV show called Bless This Mess. And I said, well, I could only do it on the weekend because I was working Monday through Friday on the television show. He goes, "Let me check." And so they had me fly up on a Saturday to Vancouver, shot all of my scenes on a Sunday, and I flew back Sunday night to work Monday morning. So it worked out.
And, Ken, I interviewed him last week, and he was really appreciative to his actors allowing improv. So were you allowed to do things and just kind of let loose?
To be honest, we shot this in September 2019. I do a minimum of 10 or 15 projects a year, Jeffrey. So I can't.
More than that, David. I looked at you do so many.
So if Ken says we improvised, then we improvised.
I was looking over your film and television credits. They're so vast, and there's so many great moments with you. And, when did you decide to pursue comedy? Was there a light that went off?
Well, I guess in second grade.
You the class clown like me?
I was those poor, long-suffering teachers.
A lot of trips to the principal's office?
Always. Well, in high school, constant. Little less so in grade school because it was Catholic school. So I'm the third of 6 kids. I think that says the whole story, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I'm the baby in the family. I used to get sent to the principal's office for doing impressions of the teacher. Before the teacher would come in, I would get up there and do spot on impressions, and they had no sense of humor. They would send me to the principal.
You're just being disrespectful, of course. Yeah, I did those too. Sister Veronica. Say, Sister Veronica. God bless her. God rest her.
I went to Lutheran school, so it's Catholic light, so.
Catholic light, yeah. It sounds more punitive, but
yeah.
Right.
You studied improv under Del Close, and I knew Del Close I read Wasteland comics when I was a kid, in the 80s. Also, he was in the Blob remake, he was the priest, so every time I hear Del Close, I always think, is that the same Del Close that I read the comics and the movies from? So he was a comedian, or he was funny?
I know, isn't that interesting? He was one of the original founding members of Second City. And before that, he was in the Compass Players, which preceded the Second City, which is famous for all kinds of persons we all know in comedy and from years and years on Saturday Night Live. So Del was a precursor of all of that. He once recorded a comedy album in the late 50s, early 60s called How to Speak Hip as a comedy album. So yeah, Del was not a guy that you would consider a barrel of laughs. He didn't do bits as most comics do. We're always trying to crack each other up, right? He was certainly more serious than that, or seemingly so, or maybe he was just tired of all of us. He didn't care to, like most teachers, you're not going to hang out with your students afterward. That's what, Del didn't do that. But he was quite brilliant, and he had an impact, I would say, on the last 40 years of comedy, at least. Anyone that's been taught by him owes him a deep gratitude, and they all acknowledge that. And
did you have any famous people that went on to be famous that took his class besides you?
Oh my God. There are literally too many to mention, beginning with Bill Murray. Bill Murray gave a quote. Charna Halpern was Del's creative partner. And she also did the Improv Olympic, or the IO, and she actually hired Del. On her first book, Bill Murray was quoted as saying, "Del does work that is as important as the pyramids." So then continuing from there, then Bill's younger brother, Joel Murray. Then you've got Chris Farley. You've got myself, Adam McKay. There's a ton of writers that you wouldn't immediately recognize, but everyone that began the UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade, Matt Besser, Amy Poehler, Ian Roberts, Matt Walsh, that group started UCB. From there, also, you've got Tina Fey, you've got Rachel Dratch, Horatio Sands. I mean, honestly, the list would be probably 40 people.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
David, when I see you come on screen, the first thing I think of, a lot of people say, well, Anchorman or go to, I swear, I saw it first run, as it happened with my friends, was Swabby.
Oh my gosh.
And we were doing that voice for months when I was back in the day, and I couldn't find anything on YouTube. There's nothing of Swabby, not even a clip.
Sad. That's sad. You're referencing from my only season on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
I did a cold opening with Anthony Edwards, and I was this, I guess, sailor. Swabby, he had a very limited vocabulary. In fact, that might be all he ever said was, "I'm Swabby, He was kind of like a cross between any janitor you've ever met and Popeye.
Yeah, we thought he was Popeye's long lost brother that no one talked about.
Very, very close to that. That was his only appearance on the show ever. But it sounds to me like he should have been a recurring character.
Look at that. What an lasting impression it made that I still remember Swabby all these years later, one time. So
Dan Aykroyd once told me, he goes, "I like the T-bones and I like Swabby." So there was something there.
There was.
So maybe I'll have to resuscitate Swabby at some point in my.
And also, you were there for Will Ferrell's first sketch for Get Off the Shed, right?
That's correct.
Talk about a good luck charm, right?
Right. You got to have me around his first great movie, Anchorman. Yeah. Well, actually, what came out before that was the one where he played Big Frank. What was that one called? It's about going back to college. Old School.
Old School.
That was kind of Will's breakout, I believe.
I should have known that. I did that junket. We were in a basement. They had us in a basement like we were in a rec room at a college frat house.
Wow.
Yeah. I see. And they had a handheld camera, and they just walked around as we talked to everyone as they played pool. It was really strange.
Oh, I see. To have a real loose atmosphere.
Right. And I have to mention, one of my favorite films last year was The Dark Divide. I just adore that film.
Great.
Yeah. And I just wanted to applaud you in that too.
Still available on Netflix, folks. David Cross wrote from a book called The Dark Divide. It was Searching for Bigfoot. Was that the source material?
Yeah. He was on the trail. Just impossible. Yeah.
But he wrote the screenplay, directed, and starred in it. Quite an accomplishment. And I've known David for years, and he asked me to do the film, so I was honored to do it. And so yeah, the Dark Divide, right? Dark Divide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dark Divide. Loved it.
On Netflix. So yeah, that was a fantastic film.
Well, David, I could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for joining me today. The Right One's out this weekend. I loved it. I thought you were fantastic in it, as always. And when you have a chance, come visit us in Las Vegas, man. We'd love to have you when it's safe.
I'd love to be there. check out another project I'm doing called Hey Good Meeting. Go to heygoodmeeting.com and check it out if you got a business that needs Zoom fatigue. I appreciate you, brother.
All right. Thanks, David. Have a good day.
Take care.